So good evening and welcome to, well, the podcast that we'll say it all comes together. I think we'll title it It All Comes Together. Um, Going from obviously losing 7-0. Bob, you tell us, going from losing 7-0, winning 6-0 at home. You was at both games, thoughts?
Lovely jubbly. We're more happier this week, I've gathered. I think everyone's got a smile on their face, whereas last week we were all kind of straight faced and down in the dumps. But no, Eastbourne won 6-0 on Saturday. 4 goals from Pemi, one from Mo, and we got a lovely 35-yarder chip from Jaden Davis. I think we played Hampton off the park. I think give them where credit's due. They huffed and they puffed, and I think after we got the second, they put us under pressure for 5 minutes, but then Pemi got his third, and they kind of just crumbled, really, kind of like us at Torquay, really, but we didn't really do a lot. Miles, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just crazy how much can change like in a week, isn't it? Like the transition from getting beat 7-0 to a 6-0 win's unbelievable. If someone told me before the game we'd win by more than 2 goals, I would have said you're mental. So to win by 6 was unbelievable, and it's not something that happens very often in football, is it? Or win by that margin after losing so heavily the week before. I did my research on the other teams that have done similar sort of feats. So it actually was last season, Nottingham Forest were beat 5-0 down at Bournemouth away, and then beat Brighton 7-0 the week after. So that was the only one I could find that was like a massive sort of swing, getting pumped and then winning convincingly. So we did one better than that. We won by 6 goals rather than 5. Or got one more goal, sorry, than the swing of Nottingham Forest, I should say. But yeah, unbelievable performance from the boys. The main thing for me, like obviously the 6 goals are great, but it's more. I had a bit of a mini rant on here last week about desire and effort levels, and you could not fault the effort of them on Saturday. We looked much hungrier in Hampton. Even in the first half, I thought we should have been more than 1-0 up. So yeah, it was very, very pleasing.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider 6-0, obviously 6-0 win, we hit the post, we hit the crossbar. Could have been more. Kind of glad it wasn't really for Hampton, because I know we felt after the Torquay performance and yeah, it was lovely. It's lovely to bounce back, and I think what you said there, Miles, the desire. We weren't happy with 6-0. We wanted more, and I mean, I'm glad the sixth went in, because I think that was the goal of the game, without a doubt, Jaden's running through there and just a perfect lob over the top there, into the top. So, yeah, 13 goal swing in a week. I think, we had to meet the manager on Friday night. We were all there. Tommy seemed really positive, even though we had been beat 7-0. Positive with the work ethic that had gone in training in the week. And I think, obviously before kick-off, we saw the news that Cameron had been let go, and I'm not sure if that news was going to come out after the game, but obviously if he was being announced in the Salisbury lineup, so I suppose really they had to put it out there. But we're starting to see, I think, the door revolving, and probably players that we never expected to go. There were players that I think, if you'd have put a list of who Tommy might have released first or tried to get rid of first, for me, Cam wouldn't have been one of them on the top of the list. But obviously, I'm not Tommy Widrington, and I don't see what goes on in training. What goes on in training. And obviously, Hugo has now joined Tommy. We can now mention that, even though Tommy couldn't on Friday night, but did. And so yeah, obviously Hugo's joined the team, so Tommy's back with him. Thoughts on Hugo? Bobbie, you go first.
I mean, instant impact, all I can say. I mean, Tommy's now got his second man, his right hand man in, so Tommy can sit back from training and let Hugo take it. And clearly it's working because we've just come back with a lovely win. So no, I think now Tommy has Hugo, I think we're going to finally see it all pieced together. I mean, we can pick up 1, 2, 3 and go on a little bit of a run now maybe, and we can finally sort of see if in the camp it all like develops and we click. So I mentioned about the players as well. I think they'll sort of as well listen to both Hugo and Tommy now. So yeah.
Miles?
Yeah, it's just nice for the gaffer to get his right hand man there, really, isn't it? Like, sure how important that Watkins was to Murray when he was with us for about a year, Stuart Watkins roughly. Yeah, so it's just nice to have from Tommy some familiarity because he's not got a lot of his players currently. So it must be good just to have someone he can trust there, as he said. I think we used one implicitly in his interview to guide him as well. And apparently, I was talking to Joe, and he said that Hugo does a lot of tactical work as well, like in the game, like sort of a lot of game management things, which will be useful for us too. So yeah, can only be a positive thing, right? And I loved him and Hugo on Twitter the other day having a go at some of the fans who gave him stick about I think it was about his son, which fair play to him. He's got to defend defend one of his own. I thought that's quite funny, though.
I mean, so both. I know Tommy from before, and he's definitely not a man to back down. And obviously, yeah. So yeah, the little game of tennis was quite nice. I think it was only won by one doubles pair, and I think they're both being the dugout on Saturday. So yeah, no, good to see. So we move on to, obviously we just got to say well done to the players for Saturday. Great effort. A lot of it, two of us were down at Torquay. It was hard watch down there, but to go from one to the other, massive round of applause for the players. I think they've really put it in this week, and obviously been working hard on things in training. And at the end of the day, you've got to look at it. If we was, put yourself in it, that you was one of them players and you went down to Torquay and got done 7-0, how bad we felt. That must have been one quiet coach on the way home. That's all I know, because no one would have wanted to talk. Why would you? You've just been, you've just been taken apart. And listen, in football, we've seen teams taken apart before, and we've seen teams learn lessons, and it seemed like we learned that lesson very, very quickly. There was a comment that someone put on Facebook, or one of the socials, and it said a day to forget in the West Country after the Torquay game, and my reply was, it's not a game to forget, it's a game to learn from, and quickly, and we did. So well done to the players, well done to Tommy, and everyone at the club, for turning that around this week, because no doubt there's been meetings and stuff like that where they've all spoken. So yeah, Dorking on Saturday. Unbeaten at home, Dorking are. We know we went up there recently in the FA Trophy, and got beat 3-2 with a goal either side of half time, really, in the minute either side of half time, where we just made a couple of little lapses, and all of a sudden we're from 1-1, we're 3-1 down, and then Dorking probably took their foot off the gas a little bit, to be fair. But I think we played well in that second half as well, or well enough in that second half. And I think Dorking only had one shot on goal in the second half. So, and I know Tommy said before, I know how to beat Mark White, and he knows I know how to beat him. So, we've got to hope that Tommy's right with that, and we go up there and get the 3 points. Thoughts going into that, Miles? I'll go with you first.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously always going to be a tough game going to Dorking. It's never an easy game going to Dorking. But like you say, I think we probably did better than we thought we were going to do in the FA Trophy game with a weaker squad than what would be our first team side. I think a lot of the players will be playing on Saturday, like the likes of Mullins and Phipps, etc., and Sanford and Gold didn't play against Dorking in the FA Trophy. So be interested to see how we get on. But no doubt they'll be hungry to put their 2-1 defeat to Chesham at the weekend, to sort of avenge that, if you like. So yeah, expecting a really tough challenge. I just hope we sort of back the team a bit more, because I felt we were really quiet. For the FA Trophy game, it was sort of like a weird atmosphere in the away end. It was a bit strange. So yeah, hopefully everyone gets behind the boys, and we can get at least a point out of it.
And Bobbie, your thoughts? Looking forward to Dorking on Saturday?
Well, for once, I'm actually not going to be there. So, but no,
Shocking behaviour.
shocking that, one game, we're missing one game in 2 years. So yeah, plastic fan, I'll have insults heard my way. So no, listen, we came close. I felt that we were the better team second half, on that pretty much weird day in the trophy game. So as you said, Baz, Tommy knows how to beat Mark White. So I'm pretty confident, that. And I'm bold, but it's pretty confident that we could probably get something out of Saturday. So you never know.
You never know. And we're now joined by James Lampard from Dorking. Evening, James.
Hello, Barry. Hi, guys. All right.
How you doing? All right?
I'm all right, thank you. Yep.
Good.
As well.
So,
yep.
We were just talking about Saturday, and obviously playing you just a couple of weeks ago in the trophy there. Obviously, we then went off after playing you and got absolutely ruined down at Torquay, but then bounced back this week. Bounced back this week and did the same to Hampton. And I know Hampton aren't a Torquay, and Torquay are a very strong side. And I mean, they've gone on from beating us and taking another 6 points last week. And, I think that they are a very strong side. But what's your thoughts? We're coming up to you on Saturday. Obviously, you'd be looking for that win. You're unbeaten at home. Give us your thoughts.
I think it's going to be tough. Obviously, as I just heard you guys mentioning there, we were rubbish on Saturday. To be fair, absolutely rubbish at Chesham. Just didn't show up. Didn't do anything really. We were awful. So we need to put that behind us. But it's going to be tough because you guys are probably a different side than the one that we played in the trophy now. And I think it's going to be a difficult game on Saturday. I don't envisage it. I mean, they're always tough games against you guys anyway, even though in that trophy game, obviously, there's 2 goals, the difference, but they're always difficult games anyway against you guys. Our home form is good, but that doesn't mean that we have to sort of like just turn up to win, and we can't afford to be complacent at all. It's only our home form that's keeping us up where we are at the moment, because away from home we're abysmal. We've only won twice. So obviously teams are going to look to come and try and turn that sort of against us now, I think, a little bit, maybe play on that. So it's going to be a difficult game. I definitely envisage it going to be a much tighter game than the trophy game and some of the other ones that we've had as well. Yeah, sure.
On the home form, James, because you guys were so good away last season and you were terrible at home. Has anything changed at all? Because it seems a bit weird.
I don't know why that's happened, really. That's a good point, really. And I'm not entirely sure why. I think we've just found some sort of home comforts this season, really. We have lost once, Barry, at home. We lost against, bizarrely,
Hampton beat you 3-0, didn't they?
Yeah, 3-0 in the first home game of the season, yeah. Hampton beat us 3-0. But we've been unbeaten since then. Obviously, we lost against Tommy in the FA Cup. His last game for Aldershot, he knocked us out. But yeah, I literally cannot put my finger on that. I don't know. I think obviously at home we're in a good pattern and a good place at the moment in terms of at home. I think away from home, teams that outrun us and outwork us, therefore then do go toe to toe with us. Farnborough did it a couple of weeks ago. I said this to Mark at the weekend, and this is what frustrates me so much. And you guys probably had this over the last few years as well sometimes, where you go away and a team out of nowhere suddenly gets a bigger attendance than normal, which is seemingly what happened with us when we went to Farnborough and at Chesham. All of a sudden, there's more people there, and they play unbelievably well, and their fans probably are so frustrated because why do they not do that every week? Like at the weekend, I don't want to poo-poo anyone, you can celebrate how you like, but the scenes in Chesham afterwards, I thought they were going to go on an open top bus tour around the town afterwards. They were like up at the fans and everything, and
we nearly had one of them in Eastbourne on Saturday night.
So yeah, it's funny. It's like a compliment, but you look at the results then after. Farnborough, did nothing. They've done nothing since. And who knows how that will play out with Chesham, and maybe I'm a little bit bitter, but we were just crap on Saturday. But to answer your question, I genuinely don't know this season why that has happened. We've won twice away at Salisbury in the league and at Bath. So maybe a few more games down the West Country will help. But we drew against Chippenham opening day. But when you look at the table, it's disappointing in some of the sides that we dropped points against, for sure. Yeah.
James, I just want to say what happened at Chesham, because you keep on saying Dorking were crap, but did Chesham play better than you? Did they get lucky?
No, they definitely didn't get lucky. No, they deserved to win. I mean, I don't know what prep we had done in respect of how they were going to play, but you can clearly see that behind defensively they were quite a strong unit. They sort of doubled up in wide areas to stop us from really getting in crosses and things like that. And then the minute they turned us over, they just sprung into counter-attacks, and we were wide open. Our keeper, Harrison, folks who had to make a few good saves, but it would not have flattered them, and it would not have been undeserved if they'd have gone in at half-time 3-0 up. And it was one of them where you're thinking, quite glad we're only 1-0 down. The second half surely can't be any worse. It wasn't. We did have a few chances, but then as is kind of like seemingly happens against us a lot, committing players forward, trying to get an equaliser, we then get caught and they scored a second to get 2-1. We did then get one back, but beyond that, we were just running out of time. And credit to them, they played really well. Obviously, they played Saturday and Tuesday as well and lost both games. So for them to turn that around and get that win, obviously took a lot, but they fully deserved it. They were the better side. Yeah, they as bad as we were, they were much better. And if we'd have got anything out of it, it would have been a bit unjust on them.
Yeah, I've seen the reputation that Chesham have got online, and I was one too to criticise that they kind of just play a bit boring. Did they play boring at all against you? Would you call it boring?
I think it was boring, but they just
anti-football.
Anti-football.
They really do that. I mean, it's just teams do what they do, don't they, to get things now, and it's this multi-ball thing makes me laugh. Obviously, at Chesham's ground, there's masses of space around the ground.
They have a notorious. Their pitch still tiny.
They have behind the ground. Obviously, the runoff areas are quite big.
Yeah,
but you got multi-ball and you got balls on cones and everything. But then the ball will go out behind the goal, and the goalkeeper will go and get the ball that's gone out. And even if it's gone out by the corner flag, he'll go and get that one rather than the two that are on the cones right behind the goal. And then he'll walk back slowly and put the ball down and then think, actually, no, I'll take it the other side. And all of these kind of things were happening. Like I posted on X after the game saying, obviously, we deserved to win. But I really, really enjoyed my afternoon 2 hours just watching the goalkeeper take so long over his kicks. Because that's what he just did. But they were obviously 1-0 up after about 25 minutes. So you know what's going to happen from that point on. You almost expect it, don't you? Yeah.
I mean, before they played us, I don't know if they still have the stat, but in our division, they had the most goals from set pieces. So corners, throw-ins, penalties, and free kicks. So as Miles said, it's a little bit. I mean, the game that they beat us 2-1 this season, it was from a corner and a penalty. Other than that, I
Right.
don't. And yeah, it could have been more. So look at the goals they've scored. I think they had something stupid like 9 goals from corners, 9 from 13,
Oh,
9 from
okay.
13. So a little bit anti-football, as you say. But if you're saying that on Saturday they played pretty well, then things might have changed then.
Yeah, to be fair, I think at home, I think they're probably a slightly different proposition than away, and I think credit to them in that respect. They absolutely. I mean, it might be different when they go away from home, but they absolutely didn't sort of sit there in low blocks and try to get a point and play for set pieces to get anything from. In fact, I don't recall them really being too threatening from set pieces. Really, we won a lot of the first contacts of corners and stuff like that came in, but. Their goalkeeper was probably their best player. He made 2 brilliant saves, but beyond that, we were a bit, we just basically just put the same ball in the box every time we got it in a wide area. We were just trying to hung crosses up, and to his credit, he just came out and caught everything, and then he was just setting them on their way in terms of getting them going again. And we never tried to mix it up by putting in lower crosses or anything like that. And he just came and claimed everything to then set them on their way.
It's interesting that you said that, James, about the time taken by the goalkeeper, because we've got a podcast coming up with our analysis guy, an interview with our analysis guy. Obviously, they're busy on work at the moment, so he's not going to be taking time out to sit down with me, but soon enough he will. But one of the stats that he was saying to me in pre-season was our game against Cheshire last year, and I can't remember the exact amount of minutes, but it was something stupid like about 25 minutes out of the 90 the ball was actually in play. Might have been 26 or something like that, but it was definitely less than a third of the 90 minutes that the ball was in play. And listen, if that's their tactic and it works for them, right? Then they're going to carry on doing that. If it's slowing teams down. And especially when you've got a team like yourself or a team like, especially us last year, and I think the way we played on Saturday, very much on the front foot, very much attacking, very much the high line. You want to slow them. You want to slow them fast teams down, right? And if taking your time at the goal kick, and at set plays, he's going to do that. Then that's the way they'll play the game, I suppose. So so. Moving on to Saturday, your prediction then, please, James. I'm going to ask everyone that comes on to give me a prediction.
I think it will be closer, but I generally always back us, especially at home. But I think it will be closer this time. I'm thinking perhaps 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we will see if you're right on Saturday. I'll be up Saturday, so if you get a minute, we'll have a little catch up on Saturday as well, and then we'll have this. Our interview from Saturday in next week's podcast. So thanks for coming on, James. See you Saturday.
Barry. Barry, when you did you do one of these before the Torquay game? Did any Torquay fans say that they were going to win 7-0?
Me and Barry did.
You are the first one we've had on, right? It's only because we've had a home win.
Oh,
we was waiting for. No.
Well, at least within 1 week, you've almost wiped that goal difference out straight away.
Yeah. That's what Tommy said in his interview. So
and you've seen off the Hampton manager as well, because Jules has gone now as well. So.
Oh, has he? Didn't see that. He went today. Did he?
Not sacked. It's a mutual. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Thing. Yeah. So he's gone. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's never good to see a manager lose his job, but we desperately needed them 3 points. Sorry, desperately.
Yeah.
And I think that's been something that's been hindering us all year, is not winning at home, because we have been very close in games, played well for 45 minutes or 60 minutes or even 70, 80 minutes in times, and we just can't get over the line, and sometimes fans are frustrated that we haven't got over the line. So anyway, looking forward to a good game, as you said, James. Always a good game against you. So we'll see you Saturday and catch up with you then. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks very much. No problem. See you later. Bye.
Cheers. So there we go. Thoughts of James Lampard from Dorking. So he's given the prediction Dorking 2-1. Bobbie, go on. What are you going for?
I said it from the Torquay podcast that will never be seen by anyone online except for me and you, Barry.
Well, I've still got it, so I
You've
might
still
bring
got
it.
it, yes. No one else can see it. It will never be made public. And
Maybe.
maybe. No, look. If James said that Dorking aren't the greatest away from home, and that it's only their home form keeping them in it, and basing off how we played in the trophy game, we'll have a much stronger lineup. We'll have Phipps, we'll have Corbett, we'll have Mullins as well. I'm gonna say I reckon we win 2-1.
Miles.
Go for a draw. Go 2-2.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for a 2-1 victory as well. I think we have been playing well. We have one really bad game down at Torquay. Some of the other games where we've not picked up the points, I think we have been frustrated as supporters, but I think that the players have been, and Tommy said when he came in, look, give me a chance to work with what I've got in the door and to bring in what I need to bring in. I mean, we haven't seen anyone new coming in yet, but obviously Cam's gone, so we would expect possibly someone is coming in, whether that person's already in Harry. Maybe that they brought him in advance, and they just need to lower the wage bill, right? And if Salisbury wanted Cam, then it was time for them to take him. So I think we might see more through the door. But I mean, just when you watch them highlights and remembering the game from Saturday, Mullins' work off the ball. And the running that he did was absolutely unbelievable. And I don't think that is, you can, everyone can look at the game and see that we won 6-0 and Pemi scored 4. And listen, I'm not taking nothing away from Pemi. Scoring 2 is good in a game. Scoring 4 is amazing. But the work that the whole team put in, and we saw more of, for me, the dynamic attacking football with Tommy that we saw last year with Adam. And look, for whatever reason, it didn't work with Matt. We've covered this ground before. It didn't work with Matt. But then players have been learning how to play they've been coached how to play on a defensive mindset, and they've been brought in with that in mind. And all of a sudden, a new man's come in. He's like, right, let's get at him. Let's get at him. And listen, you can look through Tommy's teams. They do concede goals, but they normally score more. And that tells you what sort of a manager he is. That tells you what sort of style of football he wants to play. And look, we had a great game on Saturday. Everything went for us. But yeah, I just think that we're going to be a bit of a different animal now. And I think, if Dorking didn't get us watched on Saturday, I doubt they'd have got us watched down at Torquay. So they're going to be thinking that it's the same side that came up and played them in the trophy. And we know in the 2 games that we've seen in between, that's not the same side anymore. So yeah, I'm poking for a 2-1 win as well. So, but we're looking at points. All of us. Me and Bobbie saying 3, you saying 1, Miles. We might be completely wrong, but let's just hope we are right. And looking forward to Saturday. Who's going to be your standout player, Miles? I'll go to you first. Who's the players that you think could do it for us?
To watch on Saturday, I mean, probably like as you say, Mullins had a great game, didn't he, on Saturday? 3 assists as well, adding on the work rate. And I think the whole thing sort of, I don't want to pin it on one player. But if Eastman don't play, I think we're just really weakened, massively weakened. Like when he went down sort of for a knock-ish, was that 15 minutes in, 10 minutes in maybe? I was like, oh God, here we go again. Because you need those sort of players in the pitch, right? You need some leaders who are going to talk the younger players through it. And, albeit players like, I thought Tate had a really decent game at left centre-back, out of position. Likes of Grout was good to put a shift in, but you need the leaders in the side to get you through. So they'll probably be my 2. But I just want to say, like with the performance obviously on Saturday, I'm sure Tommy and the boys won't get sort of carried away. It's not good to get too high. after a win. I don't think we're like a completely different beast now going into the game on Saturday than we were on the FA Trophy game. Not to sort of dampen the spirits at all, but Dorking is still an excellent side. We changed a couple of players, and we've beat a team that's got 2 points from 10. Let's not forget that they're a terrible side, like really, really poor. And yeah, obviously sacked their manager or mutually parted ways the manager today as well. So I think we need to see a bit more from them to think we've fully turned a corner. But it's definitely the right step in direction.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I agree and disagree slightly with that. I think for me, we have turned the corner. I think, the last 2 or 3 games, there's been, again, eliminating the Torquay defeat because that was just something else. But, the games before that, I thought we were showing a bit of hope. We were showing a bit of something a little bit different than we hadn't seen in the first few games. And like Tommy said on Friday night, he came in the door and we had 8 points out of 10 or 5 points from 10 games. And after 18, we had 12 or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
So it,
Definitely
we were improving. We were improving. And how many games where we just drew and we had chances to nick that victory. Dagenham at home, I thought we played really well until we lost Freddie at the back. And then they kind of just, they kind of use their set pieces to at the right times and the right places, and obviously we lost that one. But that was another game where we could quite easily have been in front before they scored their first goal. So Bobbie, who are we looking out for us on Saturday?
Yeah, again, Mullins Premier linking up. Mullins and Premier linking up up top again. Corbett in behind. Corbett scored against Dorking in the cup game. Eastman as well. And not to mention we still got Sanford as well. We've got Sanford, and he didn't make. I mean, if you look at, he didn't make a lot of saves on Saturday. But if you look at Torquay, got their fans saying that he was one of our best players. So it's those key players that can take us to Dorking, and I'm pretty confident in even the 11 that starts that we can get something out of it.
Also, as well, they've got a few injuries, but they have got Charlie Carter back, who is an absolute terror. I wouldn't want to mark him on Saturday. He's easily good enough to play in the National League. Is Charlie Carter. We know how much threat they got. Maybe Eastman. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the best player right to have on him. But they got their own threats right. But as long as we can keep him quiet, their 2 wingers quiet, Pryor quiet, Josh Taylor quiet, we should be absolutely fine. No trouble at all.
They have just signed on loan Jack Young. From Farnborough, which is a weird loan, but Mark White's tricky Dorking. He knows what he's doing. So
yeah, he played well against us last year, didn't he, Jack Young?
Yeah.
In I think it was the league game we lost them. He had a good game. But I mean, any Borough fans watching this, I'll just want to say, like, we got to improve the support on Saturday. I know it was a trophy game last time, but we were so quiet. It was so quiet. It was a weird atmosphere, that game. So all sort of get together either in that shack, as it were, or behind the goal, one of the two. We've got to make some more noise, though, because it was like poor last time.
I agree. I mean, I was on the sidelines last time, and we were very split up in that sort of L there that you've got, and I definitely think that, like you say, we all need to stick together. And one thing I think that came out of Friday night, obviously, to meet the manager, obviously Tommy did his bit to start off with, and then there wasn't many questions fired at him. I don't know if that was because the first question that Ant asked him, he took half an hour to answer. So whether people actually didn't want to ask a question because they wanted to go home that night. But no, listen, all in good fun. And Tommy said a lot of stuff to us on Friday night that I thought was inspiring. He was saying about how the whole club, and that's everybody from, you know, his assistants to the players to the kit man and to the supporters, all need to pull in the right direction, in the same direction. And if they're not pulling in that direction, they need to get off the boat. And he did openly say, you know, your supporters, and we need you to support. And you're right in what you say there, Miles. We need to be loud. We need to be strong. We need to be, and we know we can be. And we know we'll probably, you know, we'll have a good number up at Dorking. So let's just hope it's not raining, because otherwise we are going to get wet. So yeah, let's hope for a dry day, and let's cheer the boys on. Right, so that will bring to an end today's pod. We will see you on next week when we'll be talking about the Dorking result, and we'll also hopefully have a catch up with James after the game to get his instant thoughts on whatever the result is, and our instant thoughts, obviously. So thanks for tonight. Thanks, Bobbie. Thanks, Miles.
All right.
No trouble.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys.